The Jerusalem church accuses Paul of apostasy. Actually, the Greek word there is apostasy from Moses. So that's a very serious charge. Again, I think the only way to harmonize this is with the diplomacy of Paul, like Jesus. Now, remember the setting here in Acts 21. I believe this is the last visit to the Jerusalem church, the last time he meets with the 12, I believe. This is about 10 years after the Jerusalem Council in Acts 15. And it is mentioned here in this passage, the Jerusalem Council's decision, by the way. James says, okay, look, we did make an exception for Gentiles, but not our people. First of all, it's not a two-track system. 2,000 years later, if you're a born Jew, if you got Hebrew blood, ancient Israelite blood coursing through your veins, and you become a Christian, it doesn't mean you have to do what James and the Jerusalem church did, which looks like they're still working out Torah. Remember, these people are coming from thousands and thousands of years of this law, this tradition. You know, how far back was Moses? Thousands of years? So it takes a while. Let's look at Peter. It took a vision from God himself. The voice, I'm assuming it was God, says, eat. And remember what Peter says? No. Wait, you said no to God? So these are difficult things. These people are steeped in Torah keeping. So it takes time. Paul obviously was a special designated 13th apostle. That's why God raised up a 13th apostle, perhaps like Paul, where he could quicker, I guess, come to the full knowledge. But again, this is not a two-track system. If you're a Jew today and you become a Christian, that is Jew by birth, blood. I'm not talking about the religion. But even if you are a follower of Judaism, Orthodox Jew, and you become a Christian, it doesn't mean you have to continue this way. Paul is the example. Paul is the Jesus after Jesus. He's the one doing the diplomacy of Jesus. Paul circumcised Timothy. Why? It says because of the Jews. So Paul, by the way, Paul, there was a vow in Acts 18:18, maybe for similar reasons as here in Acts 21. An example of Paul's continued diplomacy, 1 Corinthians 9:18 following. That is an essential ingredient. It's like the key to clear up the clutter that's going on. Just a little bit of historical perspective. As late as Justin Martyr, as late as the 2nd century, you have Jewish Christians keeping Torah. So that's how long this continued. But it does not mean the church has to be split now. Perhaps they made requirements back then because they were so fresh. They're first generation Jewish believers. But we're in, I don't know what generation, 20th, 10th, whatever generation. No, now things should be clear because the one we need to look at is Jesus in the Gospels, and then Paul, who is the 13th apostle, with that greater revelation, greater insight, if you will.